Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So I want to do a quick video on Bill Barr. He's scheduled to testify tomorrow morning before the House Judiciary Committee, if he's courageous enough to show up. It remains to be seen. But I was asked to write up a few questions that I might want to ask Bill Barr if I got to cross-examine him, ask him questions. As a prosecutor for 30 years, I examined, questioned countless witnesses, both witnesses that I called in the prosecution's case, and I got to cross-examine witnesses that the defense called, including, sometimes, defendants. I got to cross-examine a defendant by the name of Alan Logan, who was charged with murdering a grandmother, her 20-year-old grandson, and attempting to murder the grandson's father. I got to cross-examine Alan Logan for about 8 hours, and it was challenging and extremely gratifying, and Alan Logan was convicted on all counts. I got to cross-examine a defendant in a RICO trial, the biggest RICO case we ever brought in the history of Washington, D.C. I got to cross-examine a defendant by the name of Dion Oliver, and I cross-examined him for the better part of 2 trial days. And I can tell you, that is as much fun as I can possibly have in a courtroom. So when I was asked to put together some questions that I'd like to ask Bill Barr, here are just a few of the questions that I came up with. So, Attorney General Barr, regarding the federal government's response to the protests, are there any contractors, that is, non-governmental employees or agents or officers, are there any contractors participating in or supplementing law enforcement efforts responding to the protests around the country? If so, who is supplying those contractors? Are any of the companies or firms supplying the contractors owned or operated or run by Eric Prince, Betsy DeVos's brother? And if so, how much taxpayer money is being funneled to Eric Prince? Mr. Attorney General, last time you were questioned by Senator Kamala Harris about whether Donald Trump or anyone in the White House had suggested you open an investigation into anyone, remember that was when you had to grapple with what the word suggest means before you settled on the answer, I don't know, which of course you do know would constitute perjury in the event you did actually know the answer to Senator Harris's question. Since that time, when you last testified on that topic, has the president or anyone at the White House asked you to open an investigation into anyone? Mr. Attorney General, Donald Trump has said that voting by mail is rife with fraud. How many cases of voter fraud by mail has the Department of Justice prosecuted in the last 10 years, or in the history of the Department of Justice? And if the answer is none, or almost none, isn't the president's claim that voting by mail is rife with fraud a flat-out lie? There's no data to support it. Mr. Attorney General, when did you learn about your Department of Justice Bureau of Prisons unconstitutionally imprisoning Michael Cohen in retaliation for exercising his First Amendment free speech rights by indicating he was going to write a book critical of Donald Trump? And did you approve that unconstitutional retaliation? Mr. Attorney General, do you think it's appropriate to clear protesters from Lafayette Square by means of tear gas and flashbang grenades so the president can walk across the street to a church and hold up a Bible for a photo op? And did you order that use of force against the protesters? And if not, who did? Mr. Attorney General, you acted to the extreme benefit of defendants Roger Stone and Mike Flynn. You acted in Roger Stone's extreme benefit by dramatically reducing the prosecution's sentencing request. And you acted in Mike Flynn's extreme benefit by fighting tooth and nail to try to dismiss Mike Flynn's criminal case after he admitted and pled guilty to lying to the FBI and after he was caught lying to the vice president. What comparable actions have you taken in other criminal cases of defendants who were not friends of the president, not associates of the president, had no connection to the president whatsoever? What other defendants did you do a favor for, though? Mr. Attorney General, right after the National Security Agency issued a joint advisory together with the UK and Canada that Russia was attempting to hack into our computer systems to steal coronavirus vaccine data. Right after that announcement, you gave a 45-minute speech at the Gerald Ford Museum saying that China alone was attempting to hack into our computer systems to steal vaccine data. You omitted any reference to Russia doing that. Why, Mr. Attorney General, are you misleading the American people by giving speeches about cyber threats, but refusing to include Russia as the primary country involved in those cyber attacks of American computer systems and UK computer systems and Canadian computer systems? I could go on, folks. Do I miss examining witnesses? I do. Do I miss cross-examining defendants? I do. You know, let's hope Bill Barr shows up tomorrow and testifies before the House Judiciary Committee, because Bill Barr is a liar. Bill Barr is an abuser of the rule of law. You know, Bill Barr is a constitutional scoundrel. And let's hope that his crimes and misdeeds are exposed tomorrow to public view and to public scorn. Stay safe, folks. Have a great evening, and I look forward to catching up with you again tomorrow.